Alright, welcome to More Than PC's Gaming. I'm your host, Mooneye. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of Dragonflight. We are going to go through the Red Dragon. I believe his name is Katatheo. So we're going to go ahead and go up there to where he spawns. The location where he spawns is where Giants Among the Dead are. For a tier 3 or whatever you like to call it encounter. So it's just up here, not too far away from the stronghold. It is by far the closest dragon to the stronghold, so if you are ringing the bell, it is the quickest to get to it. Likewise, if you are just logging in to do Dragonflight, that's the closest dragon. The furthest dragon is the green dragon. So just a heads up, like, takes a little bit of planning for that. And the red dragon is the easiest dragon to kill. Alright, I will make note of that again as we continue on. The dragons typically are pretty big, usually require quite a few people to take down. The reason why this dragon is fairly easy is because when it jumps up in the air, it doesn't actually have any lasting effects, and if you die, you aren't penalized like when you fight the red dragon. So this is the easiest dragon to take down. The only thing that you have to worry about are the pools of fire that he sometimes shoots around, and falling into that, his breath attack, obviously, and then the empowers, making him too powerful to do hits. So the idea is when you're up here facing it, you can kind of go all out if you really want to. There's no problem with doing it. It's the reason why most people choose to go against this dragon is because it doesn't have so many defensive mechanisms to try to like instantly kill people, make it more difficult to kill it or anything like that. Right now it looks like we're only facing it with like 3 people. We didn't have a really big turnout for the dragon. And that's why none of the other dragons are being attacked or anything like that. Mind you, at the time of this recording, it is roughly about in the afternoon of a weekday, so I think it's 2:30 Central Standard Time. So yeah, not a whole lot of people are on. There's no events, and 11.5 update is coming out tomorrow, the very next day. So again, if you're looking at item level and everything like that, I'm at 3700. As of today, tomorrow I will be something different because of the item level changes. So right, I'll be putting up a video exactly what that will entail. But as you can kind of see, DPS don't really have anything to really worry about. Just stay out of red circles. Tanks, you can stay in some red circles, just don't stand in front of the flame, and don't stand in the red circles off and about. This dragon's kind of boring to fight. I'm not gonna lie, because there's no additional excitement with it. It's just a dragon that you fight. Not exciting. No special mechanics really to worry about other than its flames and pools of flame. Okay, every dragon has something similar. There's way more going on with fighting the blue dragon, obviously. I don't know why this one's known as the proud. I mean, the other ones are like the cruel and so forth. Sorry. Getting a little bit sidetracked on that. Kind of hoping that more people show up because we're really struggling with this red dragon. So the plan is just to kill them. Wish we had a little bit more DPS here, but you know, you can't pick and choose who you always get. What you can do, though, is you can try to prepare accordingly. I planned roughly about 5-10 minutes for this Dragonflight, and I was the one hosting, so sometimes it gets a little bit run down and not as interesting. If you're facing any of these dragons, you always want to make sure you bane them. Not because you want to, you know, increase your damage output, but it also reduces the dragon's damage that you take. It's very imperative that you do that because it works for everybody instead of it just being for you. So you might have great damage resistance, but you want to make sure that nobody else is taking the maximum amount of damage or the like. Likewise, you do want to increase your allies' damage output whenever possible. I'm looking around for empowers. Oh, gee. That is not a good sign. Okay, so first things first, there are a lot of empowers. You get this many empowers, make sure you're taking them down. ASAP. You'll notice that it's got the arm flexing over there at 17, and it's going up, and that's how much additional power this dragon gets from the empowers. And you want to make sure that you eliminate the empowers as quickly as possible, because if that stack gets greater than 50, it's going to start one-shotting people. And if it gets to 100, most people just die. Just straight out dead. It's the best time ever to face a dragon, is just walk up to it and be dead. I mean, at least in this case you can respawn, the bonfire isn't too far away, and you more than likely will not get hit before you get to the dragon. There are exceptions, obviously, because right now it's at roughly 20. He's putting up quite the fight. I'm gonna go over here and try to kill it. Right now we're at about 10%. We're generally, when you fight dragons and you're killing more than one, you want to stop somewhere between 5 and 10%. I have seen some people get dragons all the way down to I think it's like 1% or even 0% without dying, surprisingly. Yeah, we did it. Alright, so but if you manage to get that close, you gotta make sure that you're incredibly cautious, because you don't want to accidentally kill the dragon, because the last thing you want is a bunch of people upset because you killed the dragon prematurely. Alright, now if you are the last one to get to that percentage of like however many dragons you're doing, so let's say you're doing 2 or 3 dragons, and the goal is between 5 and 10%, you don't want to accidentally hit it with like IBS if you're a great weapon fighter. Because if you do, you're probably going to kill the damn dragon, depending on how strong you are. I've seen people do that and hit him with IBS, and dragon just died. It was a really sad moment, mainly because we were going for multiple dragons. So yeah, I didn't get anything really all that good. I felt kind of like I got kind of screwed over on those rewards. But, you know, you get what you get. Luckily for us, our coffer isn't exactly full on any labor. So we have a little bit of room. Almost, what is that, 80,000 or something like that. So but there is one last thing that you need to do if you are part of a guild. And that is, if you got strong box of surplus equipment, gems, or influence. You need to double check with people in your guild. There are very specific keys. Oops. Let's go to. They are the strongbox keys, and they will open them. I know myself, I sometimes get these, and I don't necessarily always open them right away. Sometimes I sit on them depending on events and so forth. Since 11.5 is dropping tomorrow, I believe that we're having double influence. That's why I'm kind of holding off on that. So, plus, my guild does do a weekly influence, and it starts after 5 o'clock on Mondays. And today is Monday, and it's not 5 o'clock yet, 5 o'clock p.m. So I'm just going to wait on it. So that should be exciting. But hopefully this video was informative? Yeah, informative. And it helps you figure out the best strategy to take on the dragon. The red one is easy because mainly all you have to do if you're ranged is dodge the red pools and take out empowers. If you're a melee DPS and you have to be up close, all you have to do really avoid is, well, the big attacks when the dragon kind of hops up, and then take out empowers possibly. Or when if you are a cleric or healer, just keep people alive or keep buffing. Kind of just avoid the attacks the best you can. And tanks, you can sometimes stand in those things, but I don't recommend standing in red circles at all. If you're big and strong and you think you can take the hit and keep going, knock yourself out. Otherwise, I would just try to avoid them. I generally would not suggest tanks to go and fight the empowers, but since I'm powerful enough, I do sometimes do that. So, just a heads up, that is what it is. Luckily, we had some good DPS show up kind of late. I blame Vanessa because they were doing something else. So, just a heads up, that's what it is, and that was the last of the dragons I actually needed to do. I will have this video up as soon as I can. One quick note though, I have one more thing to run for tutorials, and then hopefully it'll all be done before 11.5 drops, and it may take a while to actually upload. Hopefully it'll be up before it fully drops tomorrow. So, thank you again, and hopefully if you thought this was interesting, check out one of my other videos.